Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Ashley and today I'm going to be bringing you looks 4, 5, and 6 from my one look per pan using my Build Your Own palette from Lethal Cosmetics. So with this palette, I'm really trying very hard to stretch myself and step out of my own box of very neutral sort of looks with a pop of color. And I feel like I am doing that. It can be a little clunky at times, but I think overall I am accomplishing that, and that's also why I chose some of these shades, because these are very unique sort of standout shades, and I think it's really forcing me to create different sort of looks. So if you are new, welcome. I hope that you will consider subscribing, and if you enjoyed these types of videos, please let me know by giving it a thumbs up. But without much more chit chat, let's go ahead and jump into look number 4. Hello my friends, we are back again for look number 4 using my Build Your Own palette from Lethal Cosmetics. I have been absolutely loving using this palette. So I think today I want to take this shade right here that I have not yet used. I'm going to put that all the way through the crease, and then I want to go all over the lid with this pink shade right here that we used on my inner corner for the look number 3, because I really like how that applied, so I kind of want to put it all the way across my lids and see how that goes. So yeah, that look was a little all over the place just because I was a little all over the place. You know, my husband kind of laughs at me because before we had the baby, I have always been caffeine craze. Like, I am a coffee lover, absolute coffee lover. And I could drink it morning, noon, night, and never have an issue. Never have an issue. And then when I got pregnant, I didn't give it up completely. I didn't. But I did scale back dramatically. And now I do not have the tolerance for it that I once did. I mean, I still love to drink it, but I do occasionally get the jitters, which is interesting to me because for the longest time that was just not the case. Oof, these are pigmented. All right, this might be a little bit more dramatic than I was intending because it is just very pigmented. I mean, they're blending beautifully, but a little tiny bit of shadow goes a long way. Because, I mean, if you'll look, I've been using this palette quite a bit. There is almost no kick up in the pan. They're not dusty, but they are very pigmented, which is awesome. I have really enjoyed using this formula, and it makes me want more and more from this brand. I have really been loving it. And as I mentioned in the first video, there was definitely a wait, but based on what I've seen, the wait was well worth it because these shadows are just lovely, just lovely. I'm not adding any additional product, but I am just blending a little bit further up. Give it a nice softness. And I'm sure I've mentioned this before. I mean, there's no kick up in the pan and there's no fallout on my face. Yes, I get super messy out in the edges. That's just because that's how I do my makeup. But when I go to clean up the sides and I just naturally wipe underneath, there's nothing there. These shadows are fantastic. Fantastic. Okay, I'm happy with how that is currently looking. I'm debating on cleaning up with some concealer on my lids, but I think I'm going to hold off. So for the moment, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to take this deepest purple shade, and I'm going to take that all along the outer edge, try to deepen it up over there just a little bit before I go in with that shimmer. I mean, it's just beautiful. Just beautiful. Yeah, I love that. That looks so nice. And I don't know if it's picking up on camera the tonal differences between these two shades, but there is definitely much more of kind of a fuchsia pink sort of tone to this shade, whereas this shade right here is definitely a more true purple, and I really like the way that they are blending and working together. I think it looks really, really nice. So I am going to take, where is that brush that I used before? Here it is. So I'm going to again take this little flat shader brush that I used in the last look on the inner corner, and I'm going to use that to just pack that pink shade all the way across the lid. I think that it applied so, so nicely with this brush. And I'm hoping that even though I didn't blank it out with the concealer, I want to see what this shade will do when packed on top of other shadows. If it still maintains the vibrancy that I'm hoping that it will. Yeah, that's looking so nice. I mean, even this shimmer shade right here, I'm using a fluffier packing brush, and there's just no fallout. It's great. It's just great. So I always do my eyes before my face, but I know a lot of you out there do prefer to do your face first. And so I feel like it's always important to know when a shadow will allow you to do that, or if you're going to have to take precautions. But these are just awesome. All right, so taking this brush here that we've been using for both of the purple shades, I am going to go back into the very first shade and just re-intensify a little bit of the crease. I do have more hooded eyes, so my crease does have a tendency to get lost. And then again, still using that same brush because I'm being lazy today. I'm going to go back into that deeper purple and work it in just on the outer edge. Make sure that there's a good blend between it and that shimmer pink. All right, now same as always, I'm going to go ahead and go off camera, clean up the edges here where I tend to get messy, put on some face makeup, and then we'll do the lower lash line. All right, here we are back with face makeup on, and we're going to go ahead and work on the lower lash line. So again, going back into our palette, if you have not noticed, I am a fan of symmetry. So I think I'm going to start by taking just a little tiny bit of the deepest plum shade in the palette, and I'm going to work that along the outer lash line and then buff it all out with our bright pinky kind of shade right here, and go from there. I have to say, I don't know, it might be a little premature, but this might turn out to be my favorite look from the palette. I don't know, that's a bold statement because I really liked that first one that I did with the green. I did really like that one, but there's something about this pink and purple, just vibrant look that I'm super digging. Okay, and then I'm going to use this Eco Tools brush, which might turn out to be a mistake because it is fluffy, and so this could get a little out of control, but I am going to go into that pinky purple shade, and we're going to work that on there. It is intense, that's for sure. What do you think? I think it looks nice. So the last thing that we'll do once I finish dropping my makeup brushes is we will go back in with that fluffy little packing brush that we used all over the eye. I did wipe it off. And I think we're going to take just this shadow here in the corner. We're going to use that for the inner corner highlight and for the brow bone. Because this is a beautiful, very reflective shade. I mean, it's gorgeous. It's gorgeous. And just the smallest bit really goes the distance, for sure. I mean, that's so pretty. I love it. I do. I love it. Okay, so gonna go ahead and put on some mascara and some lips, and then we'll come back for the final look. Alright, so here we have that finished off look. I decided to go with just a really soft, glossy pink lip so as to not overweigh the face. And guys, I love this look. I love this look. I think it is just so much fun. I hope that you've enjoyed this look, and let's see what happens with look number 5. Hi everyone, welcome back to what is going to be look number 5 using my Build Your Own palette from Lethal Cosmetics. And I think today I want to play with this beautiful aqua blue color as well as this really, really pretty color here on the end. I think I want to do a very blown out halo eye using maybe just those 2 shades. So in my mind, it's going to look really cool. Let's see if it can actually translate. Blue is not a color that I often use, so this could be really interesting or it could be really scary. Ooh, this is a very interesting blue. It's got, even though in the pan it's very, very blue, as I'm blending it out, I feel like it's got kind of like an algae green sort of undertone. I really actually quite like it a lot. All right, my friends, sorry about that. The baby started crying and I had to go see what was wrong. He, I think, just had a bad dream or something. He went right back to sleep after I went in and cuddled him for a little bit because he's only been asleep for 20 minutes maybe. But he, I think he's good now. And all I'm doing is continuing to build up this color. This shade is so unique, guys. I really stinking like it. And like I said, I'm not someone who typically wears blue. Or honestly greens, if we're being quite honest. I will buy greens a lot, but then I almost never wear them, which is silly. But I really enjoy what this is blending out too, so let me go ahead and do the other eye in exactly the same way. think we're relatively even. Just as a side note, this blue shade did have just the smallest amount of kick up in the pan, more so than any of the other shades, which is why I bring it up, but it performed really, really nicely. Even though it had some kick up in the pan, I don't have crazy fallout on my face. I mean, my edges are the, you know, crazy mess that they always are, but that's my technique, not the fault of the shadows. So now, if I can figure out what I did with it. So now, I'm going to go with just a little bit of concealer right on the very center part of my lids and blend that out using this little flat synthetic brush from Alamar Cosmetics so that we have a nice canvas for that beautiful shimmer shade. Okay, I feel like that looks as even as it's going to look. And I think I'm actually, because this is a nice sticky base, I'm going to use my finger to apply that shimmer shade. That is so reflective. That is so reflective. That looks amazing. Okay, the other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take a smaller, more precise, fluffy brush. Like this one. And I'm just going to blend the blue into where we just put the shimmer so that it doesn't look quite so defined. Give it a little bit of a haziness, if you will. All right, I like the way that looks, so I'm gonna go ahead and hop off camera, do my face makeup, and then we'll come back for the lower lash line. All right, we are back. Face makeup is on, and we're ready to attack the lower lash line. I'm kind of on the fence. On other people, I really like it when they extend that kind of halo all the way down onto the lower lash line. I have never really liked it when I've done it on myself. So we're going to start with just the blue on that same little fluffy brush. I'm going to begin with no additional product. And we'll kind of work our way out because I really don't want it to get too ahead of me. And then depending on how it looks, we'll make a decision about the shimmer shade. And I am going in very, very lightly with this color because it is quite pigmented, which I like. But again, we're trying to make sure it doesn't go too crazy. You know what I mean? We're also not trying to block the face. That kind of negates the purpose of an eyeshadow tutorial. Alright, my friends, what do you think? Should we try it? Let's start by doing something else, though. I think that I want to just use my highlighter in my inner corner and on my brow bone because the shade that I have on the center of my lids is the lightest one that I have in that particular palette. And I feel like I can, that actually looks pretty cool. This highlighter has a little bit more of a golden undertone, and so mixing with this kind of bluey green is really kind of neat. But it does actually look very similar to the shade on the center of my eye, so me using my highlighter really kind of negated the point in doing it, I guess. But, you know, live and learn, live and learn. I feel like I probably should. So where is a nicely stiff brush? This will work, this little pointy one. And we're going to attempt to put that shimmer shade in the same place on the lower lash line that it is on the top. I just feel like on me it makes my eye look weird. On other people, it looks amazing. I am probably just a little bit more hypercritical of myself than I am of other people. So we'll see. Definitely got a little in my eye on my contact lens. That's a special feeling. Okay, we're just going to leave it at that. I'm going to put on some mascara and then we'll come back for the final reveal. Alright, so here we have the final look with mascara and a little bit of a kind of pinky nude sort of lip. I didn't want anything too bold to kind of compete with this really very vivid eye look. I think this is really neat. I've never worn anything like this before. I'm really impressed with this blue shade. It blended out beautifully into such a very interesting sort of color. Like I said, this is not a shade that I typically wear, so I like that I did this and I really like the way that it turned out, and I hope that you have liked it also. Alright my friends, we are back for lethal look number 6, and today I think I want to go super duper smoky, and I'm going to take this beautiful brown shade that I've been so obsessed with, and I'm actually going to just take that all over my lid everywhere, and then I'm going to take this beautiful copper shade and I'm going to pat that over the top, and hopefully this turns out looking the way that I envision it in my head. I feel like I say that a lot because I always have such lofty thoughts, and then I go to do it and I'm like, whoa, we might need to pivot. But I have been just loving this palette so much, which I know you're tired of hearing, so I apologize for that. And I'm just going very lightly with this brush and this shade. This is a fluffier sort of flat brush. I guess if that is coming through, because I don't want to get overly intense because this is a very dark shade. My bangs are in desperate need, well, all of my hair is in desperate need of a cut, but especially my bangs. They are really just everywhere these days. Oh, that is messy. It's not the shadow's fault, it's just me. This is probably a look that I should have pinned the bangs back for. Live and learn. But I find the longer that my bangs are, the more difficult they are to control. And so they were actually looking somewhat decent today, so I didn't want to, you know, make them mad by putting them up with the rest of my hair, but I feel like maybe that would have been a good thing. Okay, I'm going to leave it super messy like this for the moment. I'm going to take a big old fluffy brush, and I think what I want to do, set that down, is take this shade right here and just buff that above the crease to try to blend out a little bit of this darker shade. Okay, disregard this eye. It's looking kind of crazy, but that's okay. All right, so I am now going to, I think, use my finger, and I'm going to pat that shade all over my lid and see where we end up. Okay, let's see. Going back with fluffy brush, blend out a little bit. Take fluffy flat brush and just work it into the outer V just a little bit to help bring some of that shape back. Okay, and then I don't know that I'm loving where this is at right now, so I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this gold shade. I'm going to pat that on top too. Let's see how that looks. Oh wow, that just completely took over. Wow, do you see that? That is all gold now. It's okay though. That is okay though. All right, all right. While we're at it, because we're just layering everything, we're gonna take some of that shade and pat it over the top too and see what color that makes. Interesting. These are very, very intense shimmers that really cancel each other out, which is surprising to me. So this look has gone very different than I had intended for it to be. So we're going to go back in with that original shimmer and we're going to pat that on top too. And just play with it until it gets to be kind of the color that I saw in my head. we'll leave it there. I do want to take fluffy brush, and with no product on it, I just want to run it through my crease because my eyes are hooded and some of that shimmer has gotten into the crease because I'm not super precise with my fingers. And we're going to go ahead and just clean up the mess that is crazy underneath my eye, come back and evaluate. Yeah. Okay, so did a little bit of cleanup. It's looking a little bit better. I also put on just my face makeup. I haven't put on blush, bronzer, highlight, any of that because I don't know what this look is going to end up doing. So I think it's looking a little bit better than it did when I first went off camera, just because cleaning it up made it a little bit more manageable. It does have a little bit more of that sort of copper penny look to it, whereas I think when I put it on the first time it looked a little bit more red. So I think by blending all of these shimmers together I got more of that kind of coppery orange look, which is ultimately what I was going for, and I don't want to mess it up. So I'm going to take this just really stiff pointy brush, and I'm going to work just a little bit of that brown shade into the outer lash line. I don't want to go crazy with it, but I do want to define that lash line a little bit. I think for me, being able to get some of that shape back helps me see the look a little bit better, because while it's all out of control, I feel like everything's out of control. Does that make sense? Okay, so I've got just a little bit under there, and I think what I then want to do is I want to take this just really small but fluffier pointed brush, and what do I want to do? I don't want to take away from the look, so yeah, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to just be very similar to what I did on the top, and I'm going to take this color right here and I'm going to use that to blend out my lower lash line and evaluate from there. Okay. It's funny how one side can look so drastically different than the other, and how one eye product lays differently on. I always feel like for me, this eye is my good eye and this eye is my problem child. Okay, and then I'm going to go back with the brown shade and just re-intensify right on the outer, very, very outer edge. Because I think it got blended just a little bit away. Okay, definitely much more dead girl than I was really expecting. So let me go ahead and jump back off camera, and I'm going to apply just all the rest of my makeup. We're going to come back for the final reveal and see how I feel about look number 6. All right, my friends, so here we have the final look for look number 6 using my Build Your Own palette from Lethal Cosmetics. So while this wasn't my favorite look that I've done so far, I do think that it came together in the end. With the rest of my makeup, I did want to play up those kind of fiery coppery tones that we ended up creating on the lid. So I did use my Milani blush in Luminoso, as well as put on a bright orange lip to go with it. And I think it all works together really, really nicely. So I'm very excited that you decided to spend some time with me. I hope that you've enjoyed the 3 looks that I've brought to you. And if you haven't seen the first installment of this series, I will make sure to link it for you right now up in the cards so that you can go ahead and watch it next. I hope that you're having an amazing day, and I will see you next time. Bye.